Hi everybody, it's Erin from Epapere. Welcome back to the channel. Today I am doing 4 themes of clusters for my all-in for St. Jude's mass making effort Craft-a-Thon to raise money for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital during this month of May. I will link the video where I explain kind of all about what this all is below in the description if you're interested in more details. But here we go. I am just doing some work to gather some materials. For my clusters, I have decided for this effort that I'm going to work on 4 different journals at the same time, which is colossal for me. I'm doing 4 weeks of mask making, 4 different journals in 4 themes, and 4 videos a week. So my first theme is Celestial. For this one, I'll be using my own Celestial digital kit, as well as some other papers, which I will go through in a different video. But today, just working on some clusters. So some of the other materials that I'm using some embossed coffee dyed paper, which for some of these I'll be doing some additional, inking and gilding, just to add some more interest. I'm using some handmade papers with some little, bits of botanical pieces sandwiched in the fibers. I'm using some of my spray stains that I've made myself using gouache. I'm using fussy cuts from the digi kits that I'm using in each of these themes. Sorry, and also some just bits and bobs from other, just vintagey pieces, things from, Graphics Fairy, just butterfly fussy cuts, little vintagey pieces, postage stamps, what have you, some lace, etc. So I'm starting out with some book page bases, and those are forming kind of the starting point for each of these clusters. For each theme, I've cut out 4 hexagon with a hex punch, and then also 4 small ovals. And so those are kind of giving me a variety of sizes. And at the end, I'm going to have 8 clusters for each theme. So that is the crux of what I'm doing. So I see all together, 8 times 4, 32 clusters. I don't math so well, so 30, but I think that's right, 32 clusters that I'm doing for this particular video. Now, normally this wouldn't take me super long, but as I was looking at the raw footage for this video, I noticed that I had like 3 hours of footage here, and that was because it took me a bit to kind of gather up my materials that I wanted to use because I'm a little choosy. I also had a friend in the studio that was hanging out with me, so of course I was distracted with good conversation and whatnot. So at any rate, I cut out a lot of dead space for you here, so hopefully this won't be too boring. But I am just starting by tearing some pieces, putting some things together, trying to decide how I want to sandwich things together, and I'm just starting by kind of doling out pieces for each cluster, and then we work on kind of inking and arranging and then choosing some feature pieces for each cluster individually. And when I do, this is why I don't do clusters and little embellishments for the shop very often. I will help Mom when we have large orders come in and she needs help making these things, but it's not cost effective for me to work on this stuff, and here's why. Mom has got her system down. She has her processes, she puts things together, and she does beautiful work. Me, I treat everything as though it is each individual piece is its own unique piece of art, and so I put my heart and soul into every little piece, which when you're trying to produce things for mass market doesn't work out so well because I spend a lot of time on them. So I am definitely probably the futzier one of us two. Is when we worked together the last time, it took me forever to do things, and she was just kind of laughing at me because it takes me forever to put together some things because I'm choosy about how I arrange things, about which materials I put on, and maybe that's just because I'm not as experienced as she is. She's been doing this for longer than I have been, and maybe she's just more confident in her selections and the way that she does things, or maybe she just doesn't think about it and it just turns out great because she's just that good. I don't know. But anyway, I just for me, the joy in this is in the process itself and less about the end result. So I really relish the process. So the time that it takes for me while I'm working on these projects is time that I enjoy, and for a lot of us that's really what this is. So it doesn't matter that I spent 3 hours making clusters, because that's the part we enjoy, right? So it's less about the end process and more about the enjoyment of the process. Unless of course you're trying to make 4 YouTube videos in a week, and get them all edited and posted and everything, and then 3 hours on one video does seem to be a bit excessive, especially when it takes you another 3 hours of editing and voiceover time and whatever. So that I probably do need to find a way to be a little bit more efficient with my time. But anyway, so I decided for these clusters I was going to add a little bit of gold sequins because it's celestial, and so why not put a little something shiny on it. I'm not typically a add glitz and shine type of person to things, but these are clusters. These are supposed to be the little pops of special in the journal. So I figured if I was going to add it, these were a good place to add a little something extra. So half of the clusters got some gold sequin fabric, and the other half did not. Just because let's not get crazy. But I also did add some lace. So anyway. But I thought these turned out really cute. I'm really excited for this journal. I think I'm probably more excited for this journal than all of the other ones. I have been waiting ever since I put together this kit to do a journal in this theme. I love celestial themes, so this one might just be the one that I probably spend more time on altogether, but I don't know. We'll see. The other ones, now that I've kind of done a couple of different videos for them, have started growing on me too. So the next theme is, I've termed it Meadow. It kind of started out like I'm just going to do kind of a tattered vintage, but then as I started picking out the fabric that I wanted to use for, in the journal and for the cover and everything, a theme started to emerge. And I've purchased some additional embellishments from Craft Consortium, from their collection called Wildflower Meadow or something like that. That's got a very similar color scheme to the fabric that I picked out. So that's just kind of where I'm going with it. I did not know that at the time I put these clusters together, but these are still going to work out. The fabric that I chose it's vintage. It's got like butterflies and kind of ephemera, scripty looking stuff and birds and stuff. And it's very vintagey, but it's on more of a field of cooler colors like gray and turquoise and creams, versus like the tans and the browns and things like that. So I think it's just kind of a fresher take. That being said, I am going to add a little bit of grunge here and there just to tatter it up a little bit. So hence the grunginess for the clusters that I'm doing here. So I've taken and just grunged up those book page bases really good. And for my embossed coffee dyed paper this time, I've inked that up and grunged it up, and I've added some gold gilder's wax paste over it. So just to add the subtlest little bit of metallic to it. And then I'm cutting up an old doily. Don't worry, it was already damaged. But I just thought that this lace border on it was just so gorgeous, and I've been using it. I'm using it in some different embellishments, as you'll see in future videos. So these just turn out lovely, I think. It's got this beautiful kind of leaf pattern in it, as well as this netting, really open lace look to it, which helps add a little something while not obscuring the other elements that are in the page. So, and this embossing paper has got this pattern in it that I was able to tear shapes out of it, as well as just random bits. So I did a little bit of both. So that's kind of what's going on here. And in this one, I play a little bit with sometimes putting the embossed paper behind the book page base and other times on top of it, and just creating things in a different order and in different shapes. So I'm getting a little bit more adventurous, should I say, with this one. So in terms of focus pieces, this is definitely in the flowers and butterfly realms of things. So I'm choosing mostly kind of those, again, those cool neutrals, some blues and whites. Yeah, I did choose a purple flower because it's still kind of, it goes. And then I've got some little miniature pieces of ephemera cut out from a graphics very printable that I'm using as well. So those are kind of in there. And then I select also some sentiments. That puzzle piece is from, I think, Boho Bloom, my digital Boho Bloom. That's a tea tag from a yogi tea, some postage stamp. I think I choose a Chinese fortune from a fortune cookie to put on one of these at some point. So, yeah, there it is. Tear that up. It's already grunged and coffee dyed, so there you go. So now we just gotta start gluing stuff together and see how they come together. How's everybody's week going? I had the very rare day off today where I had no dogs here for daycare or boarding today. I don't think that has happened in over a month since we were on vacation. So sadly, I did not use it productively. I slept a lot because I have been so exhausted. The last dogs we had for the last few days before this, or for the last week before this, they were both very high energy, and the two of them together, it just like they multiplied each other's behaviors when they were together, and it was just crazy pants here. So Matt and I are just both exhausted, and so really enjoyed having a quiet evening to ourselves, without any dogs, and just being able to enjoy our cats and whatnot. So just quiet. But it is also my baby girl's birthday today. She's 15 today, and I did not have her with me, sadly. She's with her dad this week, but I get her back Friday. So we get her for the weekend. And so when I called her to wish her a happy birthday, I asked her what she wanted to do. And she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, it's your birthday, and I didn't realize I was supposed to plan this. And she says, well, I thought you might have some ideas. And I said, well, I figure we might go on our traditional Evie date, which for her, we go to brunch at a restaurant in Madison called Lazy Jane's that we just love. It's on Willie Street, and it's in kind of like an old house type building, and it's got amazing food and a really cool funky atmosphere, and so she just loves it there. And then they've got a thrift store right across the street, and she loves thrift shopping just as much as her mother does. And we will probably hit at least one thrift store, probably also half price books, and then we will retire to the retro arcade for the afternoon to have some fun playing pinball and retro arcade games and eating pizza. And we're hoping to drag at least one of her friends along with us for the day to enjoy the day with us. So that is what I proposed, and she thought that was an awesome idea. So that's what we'll be doing this weekend for her birthday. So hopefully the weather treats us well and we have a nice day out. So, but yeah, I missed her today while we were, have her birthday. So I should make us wear derby hats this weekend. She was actually born on Derby Day, Kentucky Derby. I watched it from the hospital bed after I had her, so it's kind of, we always just, it, you know, kind of mention it a little bit, like, oh yeah, Derby Day, watch the race and everything. So maybe I'll try and find some cute little hats for us or something to wear on Saturday if she'll indulge me. We'll see. I might get the mom you're a dork look, but she doesn't give that one to me too often. She kind of likes that I'm a dork. And she likes that, she says we're not basic. We're interesting. So she likes that. She appreciates that. So we don't have a basic life, she says. I guess that means I'm the cool mom. And I'll take it. I will take it. I don't think there's many mothers who can say they have a great relationship with their 15-year-old daughter. So I am so grateful that I have her and my son. He's fantastic as well, and I will tell you a story about him in the next video. So, but yeah. So otherwise, pretty quiet today. Just enjoying some video editing and talking with you all and making some clusters and making plans for the weekend. That's about it. So as I'm finishing up these ones for the meadow, I'm enjoying how these turned out. These are obviously more subtle, more kind of traditionally vintage, or maybe even a little bit shabby chic, which, might be the direction that this journal goes, but I don't know. It remains to be seen. These themes kind of develop as I get further into the journal. So, and this method is a little bit backwards from what I typically go. I typically start first with covers and then select pages and then do pockets and stuff, and then the embellishments are kind of the final thing that I put in. And this time I decided, you know what, I'm going to do embellishments first, because what do you do to, decorate those pockets and stuff that you build? Well, you use embellishments. So if you don't have them made already, what are you going to decorate with? So I'm making the embellishments first in the themes that I want to do, and then we're going to see how things evolve from there. So this will be an interesting experiment in a lot of ways. The mass making, the 4 themes at once, the backwards process that I'm using. So I'm glad you guys are coming on this journey with me. It'll be interesting to see how it all works out, how I like working this way. It'll be interesting to see what you guys think of it, and if you enjoy watching as we go along. And if you decide you want to, craft along with me, that'd be awesome. Let me know what you guys are working on, and feel free to post, to our social media, or you can just send pictures directly to us and we'll post it to our social media if you like, using the hashtag ePapery show and tell. So we always love to see what everybody's working on. So this particular theme I'm calling Boho Floral. This one is going to be, still vintagey, but the funk factor is going to be dialed up by quite a bit. I'm going to be using much more vibrant colors. I'm going to be adding some glitz to this one as well. And some, this one will be a lot more eclectic, as is typical of my style. So, but like I said, it's going to be just, far more vibrant. It's still going to be kind of flowers and butterflies and stuff like that, which is pretty typical of my style, but this will be amped up. I would say kind of somewhat akin to like the Crazy Quilt Journal in terms of, that sort of eclectic, but probably not quite as grungy and just a little bit more funky. But we'll see. Like I said, it's an evolution. So you'll notice that I've chosen, I've chosen pink paper. I'm choosing bright colored butterflies, bright colored flowers. I am grunging up these book page pieces only because I want to make sure that they're standing out from whatever I'm going to be putting them on. So I'm using these brightly colored, ephemera bits. So yeah, these are definitely going to be this whole journal is going to definitely be more of like a pop. And I haven't selected like the final set of papers for this. This is probably going to be a mishmash of my digital kits. What I'm thinking is Boho Bloom and Think Pink, Vivid Vintage, and maybe a little bit of Funky Farm Stand. So it's gonna be It's gonna be crazy. You'll have to just wait and see. I think this is the theme that's the least developed of the four, and has yet to really kind of find its voice a little bit. So this one over the next few videos is going to start really coming alive the further I get into it. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this. But I don't like having stuff, too far planned. I don't like my journals to look like they're too kitty. Not kitty as in cat, but like kitty as in they, I just like took a kit and put it together. I want it to look like it was curated. Like I carefully chose each piece and curated everything together, and the difference between like somebody whose living room, you could tell they just bought the room directly off the showroom floor versus somebody who carefully curated their pieces over the course of, a few decades. That's kind of what I'm talking about. So that's what I'm going for. So I definitely am not one who's ever probably going to use just like one digital kit or one pad of paper in any journal. I like my stuff to be more diverse than that, and more, like I said, more curated, I guess is the best word for it. So we'll see how it turns out, and I'm interested to hear your opinions on that. Some people like that kit look where it's all very, very well coordinated, very matched, and some people go a lot more eclectic. So I'm curious to see which side of the fence you go, or if you do a little bit of both. So leave a comment in the comment section below and let me know what you like to do in terms of that. Are you a kind of a kit person, or super coordinated, super matched when it comes to your papers and embellishments, or do you like to go, walk on the wild side a little bit, and do things a little bit more diverse, eclectic, curated, if you will? So let me know in the comments. I am curious to know where you guys stand on that. I'm noticing as I'm looking at the group, I'm seeing a lot of pinks, some blues, some peaches. I'm trying to remember if I use those yellow flowers in this one. So we'll kind of see. Ooh, I like that red stamp though. I'm definitely like, I'm injecting red in here. These little bits with the flowers, those are from the Boho Bloom digital kit. I think those are cute. All those flowers in that kit are hand illustrated by me. So that's something different that, I'm not seeing in any other kit. By the way, all those bits that I keep having to wipe off my mat, those are bits that are flaking off from the blending tool that I'm using. That was a purchase that I had from Temu. And it was the one that it came with the cracked handle, and now that I'm using, I love the pad on it. It's nice and smushy, and it's round, and it doesn't leave hard edges. But The sponge is not lasting very long. It is flaking pieces off. So this one, as I use it, is kind of like a 5 out of 10 for me. So I don't know if I would repurchase this. I think I'm going to try some other tools and see if I like anything else better. But it's disappointing because I would have given it another chance if it was just the issue of the cracked handle, because I do like the sponge on it, but it's not wearing very well. It's not lasting as long as I would want it to. Not that it's very expensive, you know, let's be real. I think it was under $1, but still. Just kind of showing off all of them that I made. Okay, the fourth and final theme is Northwoods. So this is made with my Northwoods digital kit. I don't think I have any other kits that I'm blending with this, but I may have purchased some other embellishments. I can't quite remember at this point, but I'm gilding this embossing paper just to add a little bit of shimmer again to those flowers. This kit is inspired by the forested and lakeland areas of Wisconsin and Minnesota, which is my home here in the United States. So it features a lot of trees, fish, wildlife, forest and lakeside marshy plants, botanicals and things like that, birds and whatnot. A lot of the pieces in that kit are hand illustrated by me, but there's also a lot of vintage in there. And I would say it's my most masculine kit also. So I'm going not overly feminine with these pieces, but I don't think I could ever do a super masculine journal. It's just not my style. So, but it's not going to be super frilly. But the handmade paper that I'm using, this one's got like little sprigs of some sort of plant that you can see inside the paper, and then also like little leaves, which I thought are very cool. So I'm incorporating those into the clusters. And I am grunging these book page bases up. Definitely this journal will take on a grungier look again. So that's just going to be kind of the style. This journal is also going to feature the colors orange and green and more of like a deeper blue, more heavily. There's also some kind of teals and turquoises and some golds and stuff like that in there. So it's going to be a gorgeous journal. And I've been wanting to do a journal in this theme ever since I've done this kit too. This is, along with the Celestial, this is probably my favorite kit that I've ever done. My son actually helped me design this one, helped me come up with the ideas, gave me feedback on the illustrations that I did. So this one's really special to me. He's very much an outdoorsy kind of guy. And so he gave me some great ideas on what to include and stuff. So this one's a special one for a lot of reasons. So I'm excited to put this journal together and see how it turns out. These little postage stamps are part of the digital. They're smaller than a typical postage stamp is, which at first kind of annoyed me a little bit. I kind of wished I would have made them a little bit bigger in the journal, but then as I was working with them, I was like, no, you know what? I like them small because, again, I'm going to say that too often in digitals, we don't get the really tiny pieces of embellishments to use, and a lot of times they're big, and we're kind of auditioning things, and everything's too big for what we want to use, and we don't often get the tiny bits. So I got some tiny bits to use. So that bluegill is one of my original illustrations that's available in the Fussy Cuts in the kit. So that bug is vintage, but and then I'm in this one I think I also use some Chinese fortunes and things like that. So I'm gonna grunge that up. I can't read what they say from here. Sorry. I'm not zoomed in far enough to read all of that. So anyway, but I think it turned out pretty cute. I don't know, now that I'm looking at that one up there, I feel like it needs a little something else. I wonder if I can't remember if I remember to put something else on there or not, but and I'm trying to layer these in a way that you can still see the sprigs of botanicals in that handmade paper, but also put a good composition together. That black piece is actually a piece from a spine of a book that's just got the dates 1900 to 1910 on it. So I'm just kind of using that with a wildflower. I liked that butterfly, but I wanted one facing the other direction, so I brought in the monarch instead. There we go, much better. I think I'm just removing some gloobers there. Gloober schmutz. Is this the one where I finally used the bluegill? Yes. I was so proud of this bluegill when I did it, you guys. These fish were challenging for me. It was the first time I had attempted to do kind of, more detailed, slightly more realistic illustrations, and I think they turned out really good. My brown trout, I must say, was probably the most impressive at that point. That I've done more impressive things since then, but at this time I was still pretty new to working digitally, so trying to replicate what you can do with a real paintbrush and real paint, and doing that with digital tools, it's not the same thing. Some people take to digital design really easily and can do more things and better things digitally than they can with traditional mediums. Some people are the opposite, and some people can go between both. Like anything, it's a tool, it's a medium, and you gotta practice with it. It doesn't just come naturally. Just because it's digital doesn't mean it's easy. So it's it definitely takes practice to get really good at it. At least doing illustration, yeah. So, but thankfully Matt is an illustrator, so I have a lot of help in terms of kind of figuring some things out and getting feedback on my work. It's really nice. It's really nice for two artists to find each other like that. So just grateful for him in a lot of ways. So I've got just these final two little oval pieces left, trying to figure out, and I'm trying to again feature those botanicals, and they're a little hard to see from the video, but you can see them a lot better in person. Put another one of those puzzle pieces on from that Boho Blooms collection, because it did have a more neutral look and it translated actually really well to the seam. So this piece is just kind of like a stalk of wispy grass kind of thing. So I just thought, well, let's put that up the middle. Let's tear out a leaf from the page, put that on there, a little bit of that embossed paper. Specifically, I tore out flowers, and then we're gonna add a pop of color with that butterfly. So this wraps up our video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.